Welcome back to the Alrazda channel. After all this time, we have been waiting and waiting and waiting. We can finally watch one of the best Donghua series. And of course, it's SwallowedStar. Before we proceed to the storyline, it's a good idea for you to watch the original video first, because what I will show in this video are spoilers. However, if you have watched but are still unclear about the storyline, then, without further delay, we will go straight to the storyline. Still dealing with a creature that is the pinnacle race in the Golden Horn Behemoth universe that intends to annihilate the Earth. This situation forces all warriors to unite forces to be able to defeat the creature that has reached the star level. After exerting all the efforts that the warriors can muster, there is now only one method that can be used to defeat the behemoth monster, whose lifespan is only about 10-20% left. And that was the Void Pagoda's forbidden technique, which was Huyan Bo's inherited technique passed down to Luo Feng. Will this technique be able to bring humanity to a proper life in the future? Or is it just the opposite? To use the Void Pagoda formation technique, which would give Luo Feng a lot of power, a few things were needed. One of these was the sacrificial ritual altar, which was being built under the water 1,200 meters away from where the golden horned behemoth was recovering, as well as 5 powerful figures who were willing to sacrifice their lives by giving their life vitality to Luo Feng. And the 5 in the formation had now been filled by the remnants of Earth's strongest warriors, namely Sokolov, Eastbourne, Mo Henderson, Jiayi, and Triparty Singh, who did not think twice about joining Luo Feng, even though their lives would soon be sacrificed later. For humanity's defenders like them, this is something to be proud of because their contributions can increase the chances of all humanity living into the future. Before starting the ritual, Luo Feng emphasized that he promised that the sacrifice this time made by the 5 sacrificers would not end in vain. Because no matter what, Luo Feng would kill the Golden Horn Behemoth as the final killer, even if it meant taking his own life. Until finally, the ritual began with Luo Feng at the center of the altar circle, channeling a violently vibrating spiritual power to activate the 6-ray array altar, which was then integrated directly into the 5 people on each of the designated sides. At the same time, the 5 people began to experience the burning of their soul vitality, and the resulting power from this burning of their souls was then channeled back to the center of the altar, which was continued by Luo Feng. In the end, the ritual was completed as the energy of the 5 warriors began to dissipate after being completely channeled to Luo Feng. The procession also appeared to be broadcast live to the entire world to let the world know that humanity still had hope. Of course, they still had a power that could defeat the Golden Horn Behemoth, and that hope was now in Luo Feng's hands. While Luo Feng managed to obtain a huge increase in strength from the 5 warriors who had just burned their own souls, they seemed to not make the slightest movement at all. And of course, these 5 people were already in a lifeless condition. Their lifespan was now over, and it was also confirmed when the radar detector could no longer detect the 5 fighters except Luo Feng. Everyone who witnessed the sacrifice of the 5 warriors also paid their last respects to them, who had contributed to making sacrifices for the survival of all mankind. And thus, The 5 fighters, Akemo Henderson, Eastbourne, Tripathi, Singh, Shokolov, and GIE, as well as the entire army, ranging from fighters to the military who have sacrificed their lives in battle, are declared heroes who will always be remembered by everyone.
他们和你这5位英雄蒙难的将士，为我们全人类而牺牲，我要永远记住他们。
And now, Luo Feng, who had inherited the courage and spirit of those who had fallen, vowed to kill the golden-horned behemoth and put an end to all disasters. Along with that, without lingering, Luo Feng began to move quickly in the direction where the behemoth was. Meanwhile, the civilians who saw him prayed for Luo Feng to succeed in saving the world.
600米、400米、800米、300米，就是现在。
Just when Luo Feng was very close to the behemoth, the monster let out a loud roar to keep Luo Feng out of range. To be able to use his trick, Luo Feng himself needed to be as close to the opponent's position as possible. To be able to achieve this, Luo Feng spurred the 2 satellite branches contained within his soul seed, forcing his own body to break through the behemoth's roar, which tried to throw him as far away as possible. In addition, Luo Feng also had to face the laser beams released by the Golden Horn, making it even more difficult for him to carry out his actions. While Luo Feng continued to exert himself, Babata seemed to be getting anxious for Luo Feng. She hoped that in this fight, Luo Feng could at least salvage a bit of his soul root, because then it would be just like Hong and Li Shen, where Luo Feng would not die and would only experience a long sleep. And at that moment, the inheritance seal of Huiyanbo contained within Luo Feng's consciousness was activated. And after showing its form in the outside world, the seal turned into a reddish light that kept moving like a drill, which was then released by Luo Feng towards the golden-horned behemoth's head. And then Luo Feng's Void Pagoda technique continued to move into the world inside the behemoth's body to find where the location of the spiritual consciousness possessed by this creature was. And that was what Luo Feng was trying to destroy, using the pagoda technique that he could control at will from the outside. When Luo Feng's technique continued to destroy the world building inside the behemoth, it turned out that it also affected the Golden Horn, which immediately shook in pain. And when this creature realized that Luo Feng was the cause, Golden Horn fired another laser shot at Luo Feng, who was maintaining control of his skill. But the preparations Luo Feng had made were very mature. As long as he controlled the pagoda inside the opponent's body, the 2 silver humans he carried would become shields that would try their best to protect him. Meanwhile, the Babata, who continued to analyze the opponent's situation, also discovered that the Golden Horn's Sea of Consciousness was not stored inside its head. And this was the reason why the creature had not died, even though its head had been smashed. Utilizing Babata's information, Luo Feng then explored all of Golden Horn's inner places. And after going deeper, Luo Feng finally found the location of the creature's Sea of Consciousness, which seemed to be enveloped by the sturdy materials that Golden Horn had absorbed. And without lingering, Luo Feng immediately sent his Void Pagoda towards the target. But in fact, even if you have found the location of the opponent's Sea of Consciousness, being able to penetrate it is not an easy matter. Increasing the power and intensity of his skills also didn't have much impact. Another thing that made it even more difficult for Luo Feng was that Golden Horn didn't let Luo Feng switch to Soul Defense mode. Some parts of Golden Horn's body had now started to release yellow laser light, and it was interfering with Luo Feng's control of his skills.
的求生权。
Because of this situation, Luo Feng, who was already determined to fight, desperately released the rubbed cloud rattan that he used as his armor to entangle and stop Golden Horn, who was in sole defense mode. The extreme method used by Luo Feng made Babata even more worried. In addition to removing the armor that protected his body, Luo Feng also applied the soul burning method to continue increasing his strength and vitality. What Luo Feng was doing at that time was tantamount to him sacrificing his body shell and bringing his own soul into the Void Pagoda in order to penetrate Golden Horn's consciousness. For that, Luo Feng could only apologize to Babata. Although the extreme method could possibly kill Golden Horn, but Luo Feng would also not be able to come back again. This is what made Babata feel very anxious. Especially before Luo Feng had also promised to continue the legacy of Huyan Bo. But if Luo Feng died here, then everything would be ruined. Just as Babata would also perish. Then did Luo Feng manage to kill the Golden Horn behemoth with everything he had? When Luo Feng integrated the soul through the Void Pagoda, the reddish light emitted from the technique instantly turned blue. Meanwhile, Luo Feng's human body seemed to have almost reached its limit and began to crack. While Luo Feng is trying, we will briefly switch to the outside world, where Luo Feng's colleagues are still dealing with the continuing monster invasion. They continue to pray and hope that Luo Feng does not die in the fight against the behemoth. Even though he was a rival during the elite training camp, Candice had now reached the Star Traveler level. So he really regretted that Luo Feng would die here. Support for Luo Feng to finish off the Golden Horn also continued to be given by Luo Feng's closest friends and family who were still watching the battle. Meanwhile, Shushin, who was pregnant, found a letter left by Luo Feng. The letter informed Shushin that Luo Feng had chosen names for the twins who were still in Shushin's womb. And Luo Feng gave the name to the first child who came out, Luo Ping, while his younger brother was named Luo Hai. In the letter, Luo Feng also informed us that his mission to fight the Golden Horn was very dangerous. And although Luo Feng could not return, at least Luo Feng could guarantee that his two babies would be able to live in a peaceful and safe world. The letter also closed with the phrase "I love you," which seemed like a farewell. We returned to the world within Golden Horn. Luo Feng, who had now exerted everything to be able to destroy Golden Horn's consciousness. I felt that Golden Horn's breath, which felt gripping, still felt very dominating. Even though the creature had already reached its threshold, even until this last moment, Luo Feng felt as if his soul continued to be swallowed by Golden Horn. But despite this, Luo Feng still had some strength left before his soul was completely lost. After expending the last of his strength, the behemoth sea of consciousness was finally broken through, followed by a burst of yellow light that soared high into the sky. And, of course, this showed that Luo Feng had successfully killed the Golden Horn behemoth. Then what about the fate of Luo Feng himself, who had to expend great power using methods that were too forceful? Right next to Behemoth's corpse, we will be shown Luo Feng's body covered in wounds. More precisely, the body is now only a shell that no longer has a soul, because he had previously released his soul into the final skill for Behemoth. The scene switches to mainland Earth, and Behemoth's explosion of spiritual consciousness soaring above the sky not only shocked the civilians, but it also made the monsters, who were still invading human territory, begin to feel that the explosion was a sign that the monsters should retreat and stop attacking. Realizing that humanity has now been saved, the civilians are joyfully and constantly shouting the name of Luo Feng, the hero who, thanks to his actions, has now saved the lives of civilians. Among the fun that was seen at that time, there was a question that made us a little moved when a child asked his parents, "Where did Luo Feng go?" Because now the hero is no longer seen on television. And then, not long after that, the news anchor also conveyed detailed information about the big event that had just occurred. From the data from the battle provided by the military, it was finally found that the golden-horned behemoth was officially considered dead, and there were no signs of recovery detected from the creature, so that the Earth and mankind were now free from extinction. But unfortunately, in order to create this situation, their hero, Major General Luo Feng, was also considered dead. Because his life signs have now also reached zero, his whereabouts cannot be found. Of course, from this data, it can be concluded that the possibility of Luo Feng being alive is 0%. And to confirm it directly, the 5 major countries have ordered all war fleets and military forces to continue searching for a full 24 hours. Some time had finally passed, and because Luo Feng's body still could not be found, on that day, a tribute and funeral event was held for all those who had made great contributions during the Golden Horned attack. And great figures such as Hong, Li Shen, Mo Henderson, Ji Sokolov, Eastbourne, Triparty Singh, and Luo Feng were made monument statues so that everyone could continue to remember the services they had done. In addition to them, great respect was also paid to all the soldiers who died during the great incident. They will all be remembered as heroes who have saved the Earth from the brink of extinction. Wei Wen, who had been following Luo Feng's journey, entered the martial arts hall, became an inspector fighter, and continued to grow higher and higher. He really didn't expect that his friend was now flying too high and would never come back. Meanwhile, at Luo Feng's house, we will be shown a doctor who has just treated Shushan, who is pregnant. And from the results of the doctor's examination, it is now known that Shushan's condition and her unborn child are not okay. If Shushan chooses to continue to care for and give birth to her 2 children, it will threaten Shushan's own life. Therefore, here Shu Gang, the older brother, tries to persuade his sister to just give up the baby she is carrying so that Shushan can be saved. But it seems that Shushan will not be willing to lose the lives of her children because both of them are descendants of the hero, who is highly valued by everyone. For Shushan herself, the children she is now carrying are a bond that has connected her with Luo Feng, and that bond will continue the relationship that once occurred between Luo Feng and Shushan into the future. And that is the reason that this woman will give birth to her children regardless of the final result. We are then taken to the bottom of the sea, where the body of the golden-horned behemoth begins to be swarmed by the surrounding water monsters. But suddenly, there's something surprising. A creature of this caliber reopens both eyes, causing the monsters to immediately run away out of fear. Is this the rebirth of the Bringer of Doom? Apparently not, and along with that, the tool that was previously worn on Luo Feng's wrist fell to the surface of the water and gave rise to Babata. After checking, the golden-horned behemoth that has returned opens both eyes. Here, Babata immediately realized that the creature turned out to be Luo Feng, who, unexpectedly, had managed to seize and take over the golden-horned behemoth's body. For Babata, this was a miracle, and she felt useless because she had previously been too worried about Luo Feng, whom she thought was dead. Luo Feng further explained that the inheritance of the soul seal contained within his body was the reason why he was able to be saved. And in his battle with the behemoth, Luo Feng not only managed to break through the opponent's soul defense mode alone, but he also managed to obtain the opportunity to use the soul-grabbing method to swallow the soul of the golden-horned behemoth that he had now taken over. But after obtaining it, Luo Feng was still not used to the form of this figure that had killed countless lives. And of course, no one would be happy if Luo Feng showed this kind of form to the outside world. But unfortunately, Luo Feng couldn't complain too much about the condition of his current appearance because, in the previous battle, when Luo Feng used the soul-burning method at 100%, it caused all the organs inside his human body to malfunction. So if it wasn't for Luo Feng successfully capturing the Golden Horn's soul, then Luo Feng would have been completely wiped out. Furthermore, this would also be a great advantage for Luo Feng, considering that this Golden Horn was the peak race in the universe. So it was certain that the body Luo Feng was now using was stronger than any human body. Luo Feng then asked Babata if he could still restore his form back to his human form. Before answering the question, Babata also asked Luo Feng to reframe himself to control the Golden Horn's body first. And suddenly Luo Feng felt a headache that was so overwhelming. As his mind drifted, Luo Feng could see a series of images and words that suddenly appeared in his mind. The random images of various memories that Luo Feng was now seeing seemed to have passed through countless years and surpassed countless stars. What Luo Feng was feeling this time, Babata called a memory inheritance. It was said that space monsters from the Starry Sky behemoth family from the previous generation would pass on memories to the generation after them. This was a method used by them to be able to pass on valuable information to their children. And according to Babata, this meant that Luo Feng was now integrating with the Golden Horn behemoth. Babata also suggested that Luo Feng should slow down in the middle of the process, because it was possible that within the collection of information, there was a method that Luo Feng could use to return to his human form. While Luo Feng struggles to piece together information from the memories of the previous Golden Horn behemoth, we will switch scenes to the Extreme Martial Club headquarters, precisely in the special room used to treat Hong and Li Shen, who are still unconscious. And after that, the scene switches to the place of the leadership of the Extreme Martial Club. This meeting itself discusses issues related to the virtual space system of the God of War Palace, which is no longer active because it is rarely used. This, of course, results in fighters who want to meet each other in space now being unable to enter it. And after the room was no longer operable, Atkin, the strongest God of War Elder number 5, gave a proposal to build a new virtual space. But all warriors who want to visit it are required to pass through the authority of Atkin himself. And only then will the warriors who want it be allowed to enter it. Obviously, this proposal given by Atkin is very deviant from the existing rules, and most likely, the man has his own plans. It was also said by Bing San that after the big invasion of monsters, Atkin had also bribed the security in each base city. And when the situation was still not conducive, he embezzled the assets of the citizens by threatening the military members to hand over all the assets they had. And in order to obtain the development rights of the monster materials obtained during the invasion, Atkin also deliberately intercepted the process of searching for the remains of the Golden Horn behemoth and the body of Luo Feng. Using a variety of methods, this fact is enough to prove that Atkin is very ambitious to obtain and monopolize all the power. In addition, there are also people on Atkin's side who must be watched out for. For example, Yan Hai has a dark history, where the old man killed a lot of civilians during the Grand Nirvana era in the past, and finally he was expelled by GII from China. Besides Yan Hai, there is also another dangerous man named Ni Hefeng. He is a man from India who is also an envoy of the Extreme Martial Club. And for now, this man is the only mental master who is already at the Star Traveler level. After being recruited by Atkin, Ni Hefeng became arrogant as if he didn't know his own colleagues. For example, Inspector Li Meng from Thunder Dojo. And from the existing history, these two people are not good people. And because Hong and Li Shen are still unconscious, the next world order will be chaotic under the power of Atkin and his subordinates, who are very dominant. After trying to familiarize himself with the movements of his new body, Luo Feng had now begun to feel that he could match Golden Horn's body, and all the inherited memories of Golden Horn's predecessor had fully entered Luo Feng's mind. Babata then asked Luo Feng what kind of knowledge had he just gained, and was there a way that he could use to reshape his human body? From the collection of information Luo Feng had obtained, it was known that out of all the historical types of Golden Horn behemoths that existed that had the ability to pass on memories, there were 12 types of high-level races, and the Golden Horn behemoth was among them. Immediately after hatching, the Golden Behemoth would eat its own eggshell, and this creature only needed 1 year to reach the star level.
即可到达恒星级1级。
速度得有多快啊？
In terms of the Golden Horn's growth rate, it is known that it only takes 100 years to reach the universe level, 1,000 years to reach the domain master level, and 10,000 years to reach the sector master level. So overall, it could be calculated that Luo Feng only needed 11,100 years to reach the sector master level from the star level. With Luo Feng's old body, Bibata himself predicted that Luo Feng would need at least 100,000 years to reach the sector level. But now, with the Golden Horn body, Luo Feng could cut down a lot more time than before to grow stronger. Moreover, Bibata also believed that within this extremely rare Golden Horned behemoth's brain, there must be secret methods that Luo Feng could use to practice. And after searching, Luo Feng could see that there were 18 special method techniques that only the Golden Horned behemoth could master, as well as 3,199 secret general techniques. And all of that Luo Feng would immediately transfer to Babata so that Babata could filter and determine which methods were most suitable for Luo Feng to learn to cultivate and which were suitable to be able to reshape his human body. We next move to the HR Alliance headquarters, where we are shown Elder Far having an online chat with the HR Alliance chair, Miss Isadora. Far here is unhappy that the executives have decided to fire Isadora, who will then be replaced by Atkin. In this case, unfortunately, Isadora can't do anything at all. Moreover, now is the era of the big three powers led by Atkin. And with the great power he has, Atkin can do whatever he wants. In the middle of their conversation, the people who were the topic of conversation also showed themselves. They are Atkin, Yanhai, and Ni Hefeng, who came to take over the position of head of the HR Alliance by kicking Isadora out of her position. We return to Luo Feng's position, having sent Babata the secret method data. And after sifting through it, Babata determined 2 methods that were very useful to Luo Feng. They were both the special secret method of the world god and the general secret method of absolute space. The first, the absolute space method, was a cultivation method that allowed the user to explosively increase speed. Next was the world god secret method. This technique was one of the 18 much more powerful secret methods that allowed Luo Feng to be able to increase or decrease the size of his behemoth body, but the weight didn't change at all. And after shrinking down, its body density would increase its attack power. And after becoming large, its wings would provide a lot of power and allow Luo Feng to fly faster. So it could be said that the absolute space method was a method to increase self-defense, while the world god method was a method to increase power, attack, and speed according to Luo Feng's needs. In addition to these 2 methods, there are also 3 innate talent secret methods possessed by the Golden Horn, as we have seen before, namely the swallowing ability, and then the strengthening method, and finally the clone life protection method, which can also be called a doppelganger. The swallowing ability is a secret talent method used by the behemoth to swallow many bases on Earth before. Strengthening method. This ability was once used by the behemoth when it received a star laser cannon, and after use, the attack power and speed of the behemoth increased drastically. This reinforcement method can also be combined with the god of the world